Myambi's Second Chance, written and illustrated by Brenda L. Watoto, Raising Future Leaders. My name is Myambi and I am 7 years old. I was living behind a charcoal shed in Kampala, Uganda with my brother Enoch. He is 13. Enoch and I did not go to school. Most of the time we searched for food. Sometimes a fruit vendor would give us bruised bananas or mangoes or avocados that no one would buy, or sometimes the mandazi woman would give us whatever was left over at the end of the day. Mandazi is my favorite snack. It is a sweet, sugary donut. Sometimes Enoch worked for the charcoal seller delivering sacks of charcoal in a wheelbarrow. Then we would buy milk and day-old millet bread. We would take our feast into our shelter and watch planes flying over the city. I know exactly when it will pass over and which way it will go. Do planes fly higher than angels? I ask Enoch. Enoch puts his arm around me and tells me I ask too many questions. I know I am lucky to have Enoch looking after me. So many children living in the streets of Kampala have no one at all. They search for food in the garbage dump and have no one to love them. One evening there was no work at the charcoal shed, and no scraps from the mandazi woman, and no bruised fruit from the fruit vendor. We huddled together and looked for planes. I dozed off on Enoch's shoulder, then woke with a start when I heard a scuffling sound. At first I thought it was just the rats, but when I peeked out of our shelter, I saw a beautiful loaf of millet bread in our alley. It was fresh and still warm from the oven. The angels were watching over us, Enoch said. Did angels wear red shoes? I asked. The next day we found another loaf of millet bread and 2 perfect mangoes in the alley. Every day for a week we found another gift of food, which we took of course, but we were anxious to avoid strangers because we had learned that some adults can't be trusted. One day we found our gift of fresh bread in the usual place in the alley as we had come to expect, but this time our gift was in the hands of a stranger. It was being held by the lady with red shoes. She didn't appear to be going away. Enoch eyed her warily. I liked her soft eyes and her smile and her red shoes. She asked us about our parents. Enoch told her our father was shot by the resistance army, and then our mother became infected with HIV/AIDS. Enoch fed her and cared for her, but she didn't get better. She's with the angels now, Enoch said. Have you no other relatives? The lady asked. We told her about our aunt, who is a widow and has 5 young children to feed. There isn't enough food for all of us. After our mother died, Enoch said we should go to the city. There will be more food there, he thought. We walked all the way from our village to Kampala. The trip was very dangerous. We were always watching out for the resistance army, who sometimes catch children and force them to be child soldiers. Sometimes kids just disappear. Everyone is afraid. We slept many nights in ditches and our stomachs were pinching. It was a very long way. When I got tired, Enoch carried me. The lady with the red shoes said we deserved a second chance. She asked us if we would like to go to school. She told us we could join a family of children who also have no parents. They all go to school, she said, and they all have enough to eat. The lady took us to the Watoto Children's Village. We met our new family, 6 other children and a nice lady named Zabia who smelled like soap. Everyone calls her Mama. She placed her hand softly on my head. Welcome, she said. Mama Zabia gave us shoes and clean clothes. Then she handed me a plate full of matuke. The plantains and beef were steaming and the spices made my mouth water. Is it all for me? I asked. Of course, she said. Then she smiled and tears spilled down her cheeks at the same time. That first night, I asked Enoch to sleep with me in my bed. It was soft and warm. I couldn't remember ever going to bed without feeling my stomach pinching. I was very sleepy, but I tried to stay awake so I could see the planes cross across the night sky. You will have to learn the new flight patterns, Enoch whispered. Do you think the angels know where we are? I asked. Our new teacher, Mr. Mutebi, says Enoch is a very good student, but I must work hard to catch up with the other children my age. My reading is slow, but teacher says I ask a lot of good questions and I am learning quickly. Enoch and I have devotions with our new family. Enoch is allowed to read first because he's the oldest. We learn that God cares for us and puts his angels in charge over us. Enoch says when he grows up, he wants to help children like us who have no parents. Mama Zabia said I can be whatever I want. Anything? I asked her. Really anything? The sky is the limit, she said. I decided that I want to find out if planes fly higher than angels. When I grew up, I said I'm going to be a pilot.